Aziz milletim, kıymetli misafirler,
My esteemed nation, distinguished guests,
hanımefendiler, beyefendiler,
ladies and gentlemen,
sizleri en kalbi duygularımla,
I would like to start by
muhabbetle
greeting all of you with my most
selamlıyorum.
heartfelt sentiments.
Bu akşam ülkemiz adına tarihi bir dönüm noktasına
Today we are gathered
şahitlik
to
etmek
witness
üzere
an important
bir araya
milestone on
gelmiş
behalf
bulunuyoruz.
of our country.
Uzun süreli bir planlama ve çalışmanın ürünü olan
After a long
Türkiye'nin
planning and
ilk
study, the
milli uzay
first
programını
National Space
az sonra
Program
tüm dünyaya
of
ilan
Turkey
edecek.
is going to be announced
Bu
soon to the
program
whole world. This
gerçekçi
program
ama bir
is
o kadar da
realistic, but it's
rekabeti
also
kapsayan
equally
içeriğiyle
competitive.
ülkemizin
And with
uzaydaki
such
yol
content, it
haritası
is going to
olacak.
be the roadmap of our country
Küresel
in the
uzay
space.
yarışında
In the global
ülkemizi
space
ilk
race,
liglere taşıyacak bu yol
this
haritasının
roadmap is
başarıyla
going to
hayata
carry our
geçmesini
country
diliyorum.
to the higher league, and I hope
Değerli
it will
misafirler,
be successful.
dile kolay. Tam 18
Dear
yıldır
guests,
Rabbim bize
for
nice
18
güzel
years now,
hizmetler, yatırımlar,
God has given us the
atılımlar
opportunity to
vesilesiyle
carry out
milletimizin huzuruna
services,
çıkmayı
new
nasip etti.
leaps, and investment
Bugün de
in the service of
evlatlarımız
our
adına
nation. And today,
geleceğin Türkiye'si adına
in the name of our
yine bir büyük projenin
in the name of the
heyecanıyla
Turkey of the future and for
karşınızda
our
bulunuyoruz.
young generation, we are standing here in renewed excitement.
Yüzyıllar boyunca yeryüzünde adaletin,
For many
ahlakın
centuries,
ve barışın
justice,
öncülüğünü yapan
ethics, and peace
medeniyetimizin
on earth
gökyüzündeki
has been
yolculuğuna
pioneered
kapak
by
kaldı.
our nation, and now we're opening
Ülkemizin uzaydaki
the
hak
paving the
ve
way for its
menfaatlerini
journey in
nasıl
space.
koruyacağımızı,
When it comes to
gelecek 10
protecting
yılı
our rights
nasıl
and interests and
şekillendireceğimizi
shaping the
birazdan
next decade, we are
açıklayacağız.
going to give you further
Paylaşacağımız
details
hedefler
soon. The
bir hayal
targets that
ürünü
we
değil,
share are not
havacılık
a product
ve
of
uzay
dreams.
teknolojilerinde
In
bugüne kadar
aerospace
başardıklarımızın
technologies, we
bir
have
üst
achieved
noktaya
a lot so far,
taşınmasıdır.
so these targets are
Esasen
only carrying them
ülkemizin kozmik
further.
rekabetteki mücadelesi
Our struggle in the cosmic
1985'ten bu yana sürüyor.
journey
Bu
has been
mücadelenin
going on since
asıl
1985,
altyapısını
and
ise
the main
son 18
infrastructure
yıldaki
of the struggle has
yatırımlarımızla
been laid
oluşturduk.
by our investment
Hamdolsun
in the
bugün
past
her
18 years.
alanda olduğu gibi
And thankfully,
uzay
today, just
çalışmalarında
like
da
in every
insan
area,
kaynağı,
in
tasarım
space
ve
activities,
mühendislik
when it
kabiliyetleri
comes to
açısından
human resource
çok daha
design
güçlü bir
and
Türkiye var.
engineering capabilities, we are a much
Ülkemizin
stronger
kendi
Turkey.
uydularını
We
geliştirebilen,
are able to develop
üretebilen,
our own
test edebilen
satellites,
bir seviyeye çıkardık.
produce and test them
Kendi imkanlarımızla
domestically.
ürettiğimiz
We have
ve
produced
2012
by our
yılında
own means
uzaya
and
fırlattığımız
launched in the year
istihbarat uydumuz
2012 an
Göktürk
intelligence
2
a satellite called
ilk
Göktürk 2,
örneklerinden
which
biri.
was one of the primary examples
Böylece
of this
dünyada
effort.
uydu
And
üretme
this way,
kabiliyetine
we
sahip
have become
sayılı
one of the
ülkeler
few
arasına girdik.
countries in the world who are
Şimdi
capable of
sırada
producing
Göktürk
their
3
own
var.
satellites. And now
Gece
we
ya
have
da
Göktürk
gündüz fark
3.
etmeksizin
Without
her türlü
distinguishing
hava
between day
şartında
and night and
yüksek
under every weather condition,
çözünürlüklü
high
görüntü elde
resolution
edebilecek bu
imaging
uydumuzun
will be
planlama
possible thanks
çalışmalarına
to this
devam ediyoruz.
satellite, and we continue
TÜBİTAK
making the plans
uzay
for
tarafından
this
geliştirilen
satellite.
ilk yerli
The
ve
first
milli yüksek
national
çözünürlüklü
and domestic
yer
high
gözlem
resolution Earth
uydumuz
observation
IMC'nin de
satellite
entegrasyon
IMC, which is
işlemleri
developed by
tamamlandı.
TÜBİTAK,
Testleri
has
sürüyor.
been fully
İnşallah
integrated and the tests
2022
are
yılında
underway.
bu
And
uydumuzu
hopefully
da
in
uzaya fırlatacağız.
2022, IMECE satellite
IMC
will be
yörüngeye
launched into
yerleştiğinde
space as
tüm
well. And
kurumlarımızın
once
görüntü
it's
ihtiyacını
positioned in
karşılayacak
orbit,
metre
it is
altı
going to
çözünürlükteki
provide
ilk milli
a
gözlem
high
uydumuz olacak.
resolution images for all of our state institutions, and it will be our first national
Gözlem
observation
uydularında
satellite.
kazandığımız tecrübeyle
We have gathered
haberleşme
experience and
uydularını da
know-how
kendi
in observation
imkanlarımızla üreterek
satellites, and
bu
thanks to
kabiliyete
this, we
sahip
also
10
manufacture
ülkeden biri
communication
olmakta
satellites
kararlıyız.
by our own
Bilindiği
means, and
gibi
we are going to be
geçtiğimiz ay
one of
başında
the only 10
başarılı bir
countries in the
şekilde
world
uzaya
who are able
fırlattığımız
to do this.
TürkSat
In the past
5A
months, we have
uydusuyla
successfully
faal
launched the
haberleşme
TürkSat
uydularımızın sayısı
5A satellite, which brought the number of our communication satellites up to 5. And hopefully, the first communication satellite that we develop indigenously, the TürkSat 6A, is going to be launched into its orbits in space soon. In addition to satellite integration, satellite technologies and their subcomponents and software are equally important, and we are working in these areas as well. For instance, high resolution space camera or new generation flight computers and software, or electric engines or antennas or sun detector and many other critical subsystems can now have now been originally produced and developed by us. And in the near future, in addition to the locally developed software and the security of data that we obtain from these satellites will also be carried out domestically. We also place great significance to the institutional capacity in space, for instance, rockets, satellites, ground systems, and for many other facilities we have established modern infrastructure in order to provide all means necessary from the idea to production stage. The TÜBİTAK, SAGEM, Delta, Aselsan, TUSAŞ, Roketsan, TürkSat, SAGE, and ITU, and many other institutions are carrying out important projects in Turkey. For instance, our space and test facilities carry out systems design and test laboratories, space communication and remote research and detection systems, ground control stations, optic systems, research and implementation infrastructures are making us more capable each passing day. And when it comes to space systems now, assembly, integration, and test services are also carried out by us as an international player. Very few developed countries have such space systems in terms of integration and test, and a center for integration and test has been active since 2015. We also test the radiation resistance of components, and the first such testing facility was established in Middle East Technical University in 2019. And currently our most important shortcoming is the launcher. We want to be able to launch the indigenously produced satellites by our own launchers, but we have, even though we cannot do this now, we have taken important steps. For instance, last year we have established a research center which is operated by Roketsan for rocket launching and space systems. Micro and mini satellites are going to be launched into space by our own means thanks to the activities carried out in this new facility. Our first Sonda rocket has reached 136 kilometers of elevation and has reach the levels of the space, and hopefully more advanced studies and achievements are going to be realized in this facility and will bring us closer to our goals in space. In addition to satellite technologies, we also have important technologies in observation. For instance, the first modern observatory of our country, the TÜBİTAK Observatory, is the largest of its kind in our country and has a large-scale telescope. And in Erzurum, on the Karakaya Hill at 3,700 meter elevation, East Anatolia Observatory is being built at the moment, and once it's complete, this will have the largest optical and first infrared telescope of our country, which is at the size of 4 meters in diameter. Only through TÜBİTAK in the past 18 years we have worked on satellites, space launching systems and space equipment. In the private industry and public we have allocated 2 billion liras for various projects. The first science center for spacefaring is the Gökmen Space and Aerospace Training Center, which was opened in the year 2000 in Bursa. And thanks to such investment, we have carried out space activities and made them more attractive for researchers and for students. Sciences such as astronomy, mathematics, and medicine have been pioneered by our civilization in the past. Turkish and Muslim scientists have carried out important work centuries ago, and thanks to their activities today, we're able to talk about the space age. For instance, the sun's movement was first detected by the Turkish and Muslim astronomer El-Farghani. For instance, Andromeda was first observed by El-Sufi, and the founder of geodesy and the founder of gravity, and the person who observed and calculated the beginning of seasons from the movement of sun was carried out for the first time by scientist El-Biruni. Or the space between Earth and various other space bodies were calculated for the first time by one of the first lecturers of Hagia Sophia, scientist Ali Kuşçu. Communications, control, balancing, and adjustment science is cybernetics, and its founder was a person who built water scales and many other automatic systems, El-Cezeri. The founder of trigonometry and the founder of many mathematical and geometrical terms was a person who calculated the distance between the equator and ecliptics, Takiyüddin. And the first person to study rainbows and was the main authority of its area at the time was Mirim Çelebi, and thousands of other scientists whose names I cannot fit here. We are proud of their achievements, and we are the children of the land which raised such important scientists. We never forget these facts, but we also do know that we still have a lot of work to carry out. In order to be worthy of such figures, we still have a lot to do. The superiority in positive sciences has shifted to the West in the in recent centuries and has developed that. The power balances have changed after geographical discoveries, and we noticed this quite late, and we paid a hefty price for this. But today the world is on the verge of a new transformation and a new shift. In the new period, the power balances are going to be set by technologies in space. With our vision of a national technology leap, we are going to make Turkey the producer of some critical technologies, and this is one of the reasons why we would like to achieve this target. With awareness, self-confidence, and dedication, there is no target that we can not reach or no obstacle that we can not overcome. And at the right time, unmanned aerial vehicles and armored unmanned aerial vehicles, we invested in such technologies and we became the party which was able to change the game in the field. And I would like to congratulate those who made this possible on behalf of myself and my nation. And similarly, I would like to also thank the people who made such a great presentation and made all these presentations for us this evening, our Minister of Technology and Industry and his team. I'd like to thank him and congratulate him on behalf of my nation. As you have also followed, the whole world is watching us. And why are they attacking us this much? Because they know that the Turks are coming. We also took timely steps in an indigenously produced electric vehicle. And Turkey is one of the top countries which is being closely followed in this area. And now we are taking the right steps in space area at the right time. We represent an important civilization, and in order for it to lead the world once again, and for this we need to make progress in the space race. Not for only part of humanity, but for all humanity to reach peace and prosperity, our civilization has to be raised once again. For many centuries, for instance, our brothers and sisters in Africa were colonized by everyone who stepped foot on their land. And for them, we need to achieve this. And currently, for instance, the person who is leading France, he is constantly attacking myself. What business do you have with me? You should first account for Algeria. Your ancestors killed 1 million people in Algeria, and you should first account for that and account for Rwanda, because you have killed hundreds of thousands of people. But Turks and Turkey, and nor our ancestors, in our history, we don't have anything like this. We don't have blood on our hands, but you do. Many people have been exiled from their land and they were forced to change their religions or their names, our Asian brothers and sisters, and for them we need to achieve this. People have been pushed into ghettos and have been abandoned to fascism and crime rings. For our Western brothers and sisters, we have to achieve this as well. They say, for instance, Turkish soldiers should withdraw from Libya, or they say Turkey should step back from Azerbaijan. But for 30 years in Azerbaijan, the whole Karabakh was kept under occupation. But who does that land belong to? That land belongs to our Azerbaijani brothers. And you have kept that land under occupation. Now our Azerbaijani brothers took matters to their own hands, and we gave them the support that we could, and thanks to this, Karabakh once again was transferred back to its rightful owners. Macron is now sending news and asking Turkey to withdraw its troops from Libya. But instead of giving that advice to that, keep it to yourself. And there are troops of Wagner, and first withdraw them from there. Withdraw them first, and then we can discuss other steps. We have a military and security cooperation agreement with Libya, and we fulfilled this agreement. And we are there only for training and for no other purpose. And today, on Earth, the way to establish peace is to be strongly represented in the sky.
Ne diyordu Yahya Kemal? Kökü mazide
As a
olan
Turkish poet says, a future who is rooted in the past.
geçmişimizden
From our past, we draw strength.
beslenerek
We are fed on by our past, and we look towards the future.
biz de millet hem nasıl milletmişiz?
We were quite a nation in the past. We came
Millet nedir öğret.
to Earth and taught them what nationality
Biz
is.
böyle bir milletiz.
We are such a nation.
Teknolojik kapasitemizi geliştirmek ve
To
buradan
develop our
doğacak olan
technological
ekonomiden
capacity
faydalanmak
and to
için
use the economy which comes out of that, we will of course be present in the space as well. I see the space at the
ve
moment,
bambaşka görüyoruz.
and I see it quite differently.
Elde ettiğimiz tecrübe ve birikimi
The experience and know-how
ve
that we have,
teknoloji ekosistemimize aktarabilmek için
in order to transfer to our education and training and science ecosystem, we have to be present in space as well. For that reason, we have to work
yapacağımız
harder.
çok iş var.
There is a lot that we have to
Güçlü ve
achieve.
bağımsız bir Türkiye'nin
For
yerini
a strong and
sadece
independent
dünyada değil,
Turkey, not only on Earth,
uzayda da
but also in
tahkim
space, we have to reinforce
işte bu
our
vizyonu
position.
yürütecek olan kurumumuz
The organization which is going to
Uzay
run
Ajansı.
this vision is the Turkish Space Agency.
bu kurumumuz uzay alanında birikmiş
This
kabiliyetlerimizi
institution
tek
is
çatı
going
altında
to
koordine
bring
etmek
under under the same roof all of our capabilities relating to the space and will create a new, renewed and strong
Milli
synergy.
Uzay Programı
The first
hazırlamak
duty
olan
of this
ajansımız,
institution
kamu
is to prepare a
kuruluşlarından
national
özel
space
sektöre,
program.
üniversitelerden
Universities,
uluslararası
private
ortaklara kadar
sector, and international stakeholders with
çalışmasını
contributions from different stakeholders, it has
Milli Uzay
concluded its
Programımızda
studies.
hedeflerimizi
In our national
gerçekleştirmek
space program, in
hangi
order to
kaynak
reach our
ve
targets,
yetkinliklere sahip
we
olmamız gerektiğini,
know which
adımlarımızı
resources
ne
or
zaman ve
capabilities we are
şekilde
supposed to
atacağımızı
have
belirleyeceğiz.
and which steps to be
Türkiye'nin
taken at what
uzaydaki
time.
10
Currently,
yıllık vizyon,
we
strateji,
are
hedef ve projelerini
talking
yer aldığı
about
Milli Uzay
the National
Programımızı
Space Program,
bugünlerde
which
meşhur olan sloganıyla
details
tüm
the
dünyaya
targets
ilan
of
ediyor
Turkey in
ve
the next
diyorum ki,
10 years. I
gökyüzüne
announce it to the whole world
bak,
and I say,
ayı
look at the space and see the moon.
Değerli dostlar, Milli Uzay Programı'ndaki
In our national space program, the primary and most important target is on the 100th anniversary of our republic is to make the first contact with the moon.
evet, inşallah Ay'a gidiyoruz.
And hopefully we are going to the moon.
Hazırlıklarına başladığımız Ay programı ile
We have started the
hedefi
preparations
iki
for a
aşamada
moon
tamamlamayı
program and we aim to
ilk aşamada
reach this goal in two
2023
stages. In the
yılı
first
sonunda
phase, by the end
yakın
of
dünya
2023,
yörüngesinde ateşleyeceğimiz
we are going to fire our own hybrid rocket at low orbit, and with that we're going to reach the moon and carry out a hard landing.
Uzay aracımızı yakın yörüngeye çıkaracak ilk fırlatmayı
The first launch
uluslararası
which
işbirliği
will
ile
carry
hayata
out that
geçireceğiz.
satellite is going to
Bu
be
görevi
carried out with
tamamladığımızda
international
hem
cooperation.
Ay'a
And
ulaşmayı
once we
başaran
achieve that,
ülkelerden
we
biri
are going
olacak.
to be one of the
Hem de
countries who is able
ikinci
to
aşama
reach
Ay
the
misyonu
moon,
için
and
gerekli
we will
bilgileri
get the
toplamış olacağız.
necessary know-how for the second
2028
phase
yılında
moon motion.
hayata geçirmeyi planladığımız
The second phase is going to be carried out in 2028, and we are going to carry out the first launch this time by our own domestically produced launchers. We are going to achieve a soft landing on the moon in the second phase, and we will be one of the few countries who are able to carry out scientific activities on the moon. And this way, we are going to have the pride of sending the crescent on our flag to the moon. We have started the preparations of the moon program, and we are going to make progress, and this program will serve as a leverage for our progress in various technologies. From communications to high radiation resistant equipment to automotive to AI, this is going to prove the groundwork for our studies in many different areas. So the first domestically developed subsystems will also be possible to commercialize. Of course, this is a very risky and difficult task. We have all witnessed countries whose efforts have failed recently to land on the moon, and hopefully, I believe wholeheartedly that Turkish engineers will be able to achieve this important task. The second goal in our national space program is to compete with the world with a commercial brand in the development of new generation satellites. The satellite production capabilities of our country will be coordinated by the Turkish Space Agency, and those capabilities will be united under a single company. Currently, the satellite and subsystem production is carried out by different institutions, and we are going to unify that under the same roof in order to achieve full synchronization, and in order to further develop our human resource and use our resources more efficiently, and this way will improve our competitive strength and hope to get more share in the satellite market in the world. With a domestic satellite development program in line with our targets in the space, we are going to be able to meet our own needs in a more effective way. The third target in the national space program is to have a regional positioning and timing system that belongs to Turkey. For our navigational needs for civil and military purposes, only 6 countries in the world have such a technology. By using satellites together with ground systems, we are going to use an innovative method in our own positioning system, and that way we are going to get rid of the foreign dependency which comes with serious risks. And once we reach that goal in defense, agriculture, urbanization, and autonomous vehicles, and in many other areas, we are going to be able to develop our own accurate satellite systems. Of course, having such means is going to benefit not only Turkey but also some brotherly countries in our region, and that brings us to our fourth target. In order to access space and to establish a space base.
Uzayda bağımsız güç olmanın yolu uzaya erişimden geçiyor.
In order to be an independent power in space, we need to be able to access space. We need to develop our systems to a level where they can carry load to the space, and hopefully we'll be able to achieve that, and also to have a spaceport. The geographical location of Turkey And in terms of commercial profitability, our location is not currently conducive for a spaceport. For that reason, we are going to establish the port in cooperation with some friendly countries in different parts of the world. And with international cooperation, we are dedicated to carry out this mission as soon as possible. Our fifth target is to invest into space meteorology in order to increase our capabilities in space. Changes that can occur in the space can change our lives, living conditions, and can negatively impact our technologies on the ground. For instance, navigation systems, wireless communication systems, electricity grids, oil pipelines can be harmed by the changes in space. In order to monitor all these effects and to monitor them, we are going to study the space air. And by doing this, especially the operations of our country on Earth and in the space will be more secure. The sixth goal is to improve Turkey in the observation of space bodies, and by increasing our capabilities in this area we can record and monitor the objects near Earth, and for this mission we already have infrastructure. With TÜBİTAK Observatory and East Anatolian Observatory will be integrated with each other and will become a single observation infrastructure. Thanks to radio telescopes that we bring to our country, our scientists will be able to work on rapid radio blasts which have not been solved yet. The engineers which are going to design these telescopes are also going to lay the foundations of the communications infrastructure for our space projects. The seventh goal is to improve the space industry ecosystem in our country. Turkish scientists and entrepreneurs, when they have the right infrastructure and when they get the right support, they can achieve a lot, as the whole world can witness. We have made progress in defense industry and we will carry those achievements into space technology, and we will create a strong and productive ecosystem, and led by our space agency. Soon, I'm sure new success stories will come out of this area as well. The eighth target in our space program is to establish a space technology development region. Not just developing satellites and producing satellites, being one of the few countries which can do this is not sufficient for us. We want Turkey to be able to produce all sub-components of space technology in a competitive and commercially advantageous way. And for this purpose, under Middle East Technical University, we are going to host foreign and Turkish and international investors at the Space Technologies Development Center. And companies which are going to invest here are going to be backed by different mechanisms. We are going to position the private industry as the leading power, and the center will also going to host our space agency, and the location has been set already. Our ninth target is to improve the human resource which is capable in space technologies. Just like we do in every area, the most important factor in our space journey is humans, the children, the youth, the researchers, scientists, entrepreneurs, technicians, engineers, and with all other professions. We are going to increase space awareness in our society and will take every necessary step for this purpose, starting with the Higher Education Board, we are going to create special programs in these areas in order to increase our human capital in this area. Our 10th and the last target in this area is to send a Turkish citizen to space.
Eminim ki birçok kişi bu hayali kurarak büyümüştür.
I'm sure that many people grew up with this childhood dream, and maybe there are some among you who still carry this dream, and maybe this could be one of the women here.
Pelin Çift diyor ki ben adayım.
For instance, Pelin Çift says she's a candidate.
Sayın Barak. Evet. Denemeyi falan önceden yapalım ki bir sıkıntı yaşamayalım.
Let's make tests beforehand so that we don't have a problem. We want to send a citizen, but not only as a tourist, but as a science mission which is going to light the way for future generations. A person who's qualified to go to space will be chosen among volunteers and will be equipped with the necessary training to go to space. And by using the infrastructure of the space institution, we are going to have the chance to carry out scientific explorations. And if a citizen is to go to space, we should not use the words astronaut or cosmonaut, but we should rather find a Turkish term. As you know, this is an area that we're sensitive about. So from here, I'd like to call out to our linguists. Please coin a Turkish word, a Turkish term for Turkish space travelers. Of course, not only linguists, but our 83 million citizens can join in this search with their original ideas. Each of the targets that we have mentioned here are of course aggressive targets, and they're challenging targets, but all of them are firmly grounded. I'm sure Turkey is going to carry out this revolution and claim its position as a strong player in the space. The projects that are developed by the space agency and the targets in the national program, I'm going to monitor them and support them personally. I would like to thank all academics, entrepreneurs, and citizens who carry out activities in this area. We are going to carry out calls and competitions in order to contribute to this area. We ask all of our citizens to give high-level participation and protection for such activities, and hopefully the nation and the state will work hand in hand and will carry our flag with the moon and the crescent and the star even higher. Our feet will be on earth, but our eyes will be on the skies. Our roots are on earth, but our branches are in the skies. And with such sentiments, once again, I hope and pray that our space program will be auspicious for our country and for all humanity. I thank our technology and industry minister who organized this program. I thank the space agency and all stakeholders who contributed. Once again, I greet all of you.
Hitaplarından ötürü Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımıza çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Efendim, yüksek müsaadelerinizle sizi bir süre daha ağırlayacağız sahnede. Şöyle öne geçelim. Şimdi ülkemizin uzay alanında markası olacak Türkiye Uzay Ajansı'nın marka tescil belgesini Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımıza takdim etmek üzere Sanayi ve Teknoloji Bakanımız Sayın Mustafa Varank'ı sahneye davet ediyorum.